Yes, I'm recording this intro lazy style because I am. First off, my mouth is burning from eating those hot wings. And my mouth is burning from eating hot wings. I need to sit down. Hey guys, thank you for joining me. I am going to make some hot wing sauce. Now, I know the game is coming up in a week or so you definitely won't have time to ferment and make your own hot sauce. However, you can get some fresh peppers and basically do the same thing you're going to see me do. This is wonderful sauce for your party. I hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment. All right, this is our red jalapeno. It's ready, so we're gonna go ahead and make a red pepper hot sauce for wings with this. First thing we're gonna do is drain it, separate it. We're gonna separate it here in this little tin, and so when I pour it in here, of course, the juice will separate. The brine actually will separate from the peppers. I can separate the two, and then blend the peppers. So let's get going. All right, making pepper sauce isn't very difficult. Okay, super simple. Okay, so we have it separated here, and those are my red peppers. You also see some garlic cloves in there and the onions. The onions I'm gonna put in the blender with the peppers, but I won't put but maybe one garlic clove in there because I'm gonna add the garlic cloves back to the sauce based off of the flavor. So the garlic is not overly, powerful, okay? So what I'm gonna do is put these peppers with the onions in a blender, and then I'm gonna put them in another container to hold the peppers while we start to taste it, okay? Start adding to it to get the flavor to our sauce the way we want. Now, beneath it is the brine. That's the pepper brine that it was in. We're not gonna discard that because we're gonna use that to give the peppers the sauce the consistency we want. And we'll also have to add in some vinegar, and I'm going to use some red wine vinegar, and then we're going to also test the acidity to see how long it can stay on shelf, that it's good and self-stable basically. So let me start blending this up. You don't really need to see me putting that in a blender. I mean, I'm putting it in the blender and I'm going to blend it up, and you'll see the finished process. So I'll see you in just a minute. All right, everybody. This is a food meal. Let me get it set up here. Okay, this is a food meal, okay? This is our pepper puree. This is what the peppers look like after we ground them up. We're gonna pour our peppers into our food meal. What the food meal is going to do is separate it's going to basically turn that mash and separate it from a mash to a sauce. See how it's kind of dripping through? That's going to be our finished sauce. But you crank this handle, and with one hand it's going to be tough to show you guys. But you just crank this handle around, and hope you guys can see that good. And at the bottom, look at that. That's going to be a pretty good sauce, okay? So let me go ahead and finish cranking on this, and then I'm going to show you the finished product that's in here, and that's going to be the mash, and then the hot sauce at the bottom. Okay, guys, I thought I'd kind of show you a little bit of what it looks like. See at the bottom? I'm going to crank it the other way. And you'll start seeing the pepper mash come up off the bottom of the machine there. See it? So let's take a good look. That is basically the pepper meat and the seeds that's left over in this mash. Excuse me. See that? And then at the bottom, if I can rock this, look at that. That's just pure hot sauce. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is finish. You crank this the opposite way. One way squeezes it out, and the other way will pull it up off of the bottom, and it'll start coming up. See that? And it'll start collecting on the top, and then you just scrape it all out. So I'm gonna scrape all that mash out and then wash this deal up, and then we're gonna come back to our sauce, which is what's left in the pan. All right, so now let's take a look. Okay, that's the consistency of just the raw peppers. There's no, I hadn't added any of the brine back in. I haven't put any red wine vinegar in it yet, but that would be the next step. So what you would actually do at this point is just kind of taste it a little bit, and you'll know what you're gonna add into it next. Now I know this is hot sauce, but you kind of want to put some sweetener in the hot sauce, and it's just for taste. It doesn't affect the heat of your hot sauce, but it just makes it a little bit more flavorful. This is the remaining peppers. That's what's left. That's the mash, okay? And as you can see, it's just squeezed out pepper skin, okay? So what we're gonna do is bag that up and put it in the freezer, okay? The next step for our sauce, though, is we're going to get a volume on it, feel how much we have in volume, and add half of that back with red wine vinegar. So before we put the brine back in, we're gonna go with the red wine vinegar. We're trying to get a little bit of flavor in it and get a really nice flavor profile. So that's what's coming up next. Okay, everybody, what we have here is our blended sauce. And I did put a half a cup of the red wine vinegar in here. Before we go any further, we got to do a little taste test here. All right, everybody, we're gonna give this a little taste. Let me put a little bit on my spoon here. See it a little bit on the spoon there. Let's get at a taste. Okay. Oh, God. There's no complaint with the heat. Definitely not the hottest sauce I've ever had, but or the hottest sauce I've ever made. But I wasn't expecting that much heat out of those red jalapenos. The flavor's really good. Really, really, really good. I'm gonna go ahead right now, add a little salt. I'm at probably start with a 1/4 teaspoon of sweetener. I'm gonna mix it up, and I'm gonna taste the flavor profile again. Sauce should not just be all about heat. It's got to be some good flavor, some good background. That's why I use the red wine vinegar. It really tastes good with that. And we're gonna put a little bit of sweetener in it. I'll let you know what the final result's gonna be here in just a minute. That's warm. Okay, guys, I ended up putting a tablespoon and a half of sweetener in it, okay? So now it's time to check the pH in it and see what the shelf life, how stable it is for the shelf. I think 4.5 or something like that is what it's the highest. Holy cow. 3 is what I'm looking for. That is 2.9. This has been fermenting for about a month. And that is extremely shelf stable. 2.9 on the pH is extremely shelf stable. Whew. That stuff is a little warm. Okay, I gotta rinse this thing off and drink some milk. Hey everybody. Okay, so we yielded 4 bottles of hot sauce and 1 bottle of wing sauce, and then there's the mash. Put it in a Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna put this in the freezer, and then later you're gonna see what I do with that. But while it's been sitting here, as I was cleaning everything up, as you can see, it's separated. Now, if you can look closely, you'll see bubbles. See the bubbles in there? When it all settles, it's gonna look like this at the bottom, okay? You can prevent that by using other methods. Like you can put, what that is the vinegar and the pepper separating. Okay, what you can do is put some xanthan gum in your mix there while you're blending it. Put some xanthan gum in there until you get the consistency that you want, and it'll help it to not let that happen. But I'm just going to show you a little something, okay? I'm going to try to be real careful with this. Everybody knows what this is. I want you to look. See at the top where it's separating? It's not uncommon, see? It's not uncommon for it to do that. Now, these people are just freaking masters at making sauce, okay? And they have the equipment and things that they can do. You can use a magnetic stir with these and let it stir for, a week or so, and let it emulsify and prevent this from, you can't prevent it, because even those guys, stuff will separate. You can't totally prevent it, but you can, make it last longer than a few hours. Now, let's just watch this. See there? See how it's starting to come back? And then that's it. See? You just shake it before you use it.